You ever wonder why some episodes of your favorite shows just disappear? Not canceled, erased, like they were never meant to exist. It started one weekend when I was helping my uncle clear out his old video rental store. There were shelves of dusty VHS tapes, worn posters, and that faint smell of faded plastic and popcorn that instantly pulled me back to childhood. He told me I could keep whatever I found. That's when I noticed it, a black VHS tape with a fading yellow label. Scrawled in messy handwriting were the words, SpongeBob, episode 134B. But here's the thing, SpongeBob doesn't have an episode 134B. The tape looked wrong. No Nickelodeon branding, no cover art, just those words, "Do not air," written twice, and scratched out like someone had tried to hide them. I thought it was some old fan project or maybe a joke tape employees used to make. Still a curiosity one. I took it home, dusted off my old VCR, and pressed play. The screen flickered with static, buzzing like faint whispers. Then SpongeBob appeared, but not the SpongeBob I remembered. His colors were faded, his outline shaky, eyes darker than usual. And there was no music, no laughter, just the distant sound of water dripping somewhere off-screen. He sat alone in the Krusty Krab, not smiling, not blinking, just staring directly at the camera. Then he spoke, but it wasn't Tom Kenny's voice. It was deeper, slower, human. "Are you watching this again?" My stomach dropped. The voice didn't sound like a cartoon at all. It sounded like someone whispering through the static, real close. The tape screeched, the image warped, lines tearing across the screen, and for a single frame, something flashed, not animation. It looked like a real hallway, dimly lit like from a security camera. Then the screen went black. I thought it was over, but the VCR didn't stop. The counter kept running, like the tape was still playing, something I couldn't see. And that's when I realized the episode wasn't just a cartoon. It was recording something else, something real. When I rewound the tape, I noticed something, just one frame almost invisible between the static. I paused it. It showed a hallway, long and narrow, walls stained like water had been dripping down them for years. The lighting wasn't from a cartoon, it was too real, too harsh. Behind the flickering lines, I could see movement, something shifting at the end of that hallway. I tried to frame step again, and that's when my TV froze. The image stayed stuck, and I swear, the faint sound of breathing started coming through the speakers. Not SpongeBob, not a character, breathing, slow, wet, human breathing. Then, the image on screen changed by itself. SpongeBob was back, but this time he wasn't sitting in the Krusty Krab. He was standing in that same hallway, and in the corner, behind him was something blurred, a figure. At first, I thought it was just some editing trick or a reflection, but as the frame stabilized, I realized the figure was me. My own outline, my same hoodie, my same messy desk lamp. The air in my room went cold, like all the warmth had been pulled into the screen. I tried to eject the tape, but the VCR whirred and jammed. The counter rolled back to 0. The episode started again. Except now, SpongeBob didn't look at the camera. He looked to his side, as if something off-screen was whispering to him. Then he smiled, wide and shaking, and said, "You shouldn't have watched it twice." The audio cracked. The tape squealed like it was being torn from the inside, and I felt this pulse, this deep vibration, coming from the floor beneath me, syncing perfectly with his words. I yanked the plug from the wall. Everything went black. But when I looked down at the TV screen, unplugged, no power, I could still see the faint outline of that hallway, flickering, waiting. I remember the night I first pressed play. The screen flickered once, like the old CRT monitors from the 2000s, then faded into the familiar blue ocean background. For a second, I almost laughed. The classic SpongeBob opening theme started, bubbles, ukulele, everything exactly how I remembered. But the voice that followed wasn't the pirate who normally shouted, "Are you ready, kids?" It was slower and deeper. "Are you ready?" It sounded human, too human, like someone struggling to remember the words. The laughter that followed didn't feel like children's laughter. It was muffled, drawn out, like someone had recorded it from behind a wall. At first, I told myself it was just some elaborate fan edit. You know, the kind people make for creepypasta channels or horror challenges. But the audio quality was too clean. Whoever made this had access to the original production material or something older. The intro faded out and cut to black. For almost 20 seconds, nothing happened. Then static. When the image came back, SpongeBob was standing in front of his pineapple house. He wasn't smiling. His pupils were small, the whites of his eyes dull gray. His mouth twitched slightly, not in the usual cartoonish way, but like an old VHS tracking glitch synced to his expression. There was no background music, just faint ocean noise, low, heavy, almost like breathing. He didn't move for the first 30 seconds. He just stared. Then, slowly, he walked toward the Krusty Krab. Each step echoed, like someone dragging a wet shoe across linoleum. The colors kept flickering, overly saturated one moment, washed out the next. The sky turned from light blue to sickly green. Halfway through the scene, SpongeBob stopped. His head tilted toward the camera, not in the usual 2D sense, but like he knew I was watching. "Do you remember me?" The voice wasn't Tom Kenny's. It wasn't even close. It sounded layered, distorted, like multiple voices speaking at once. I paused the video immediately. My hands were sweating. My room completely silent except for the faint hum of my laptop fan. The timestamp said 3 a.m. exactly. When I tried to skip ahead, the timeline bar glitched. The cursor froze, then jumped backward. The screen went dark again, but I could still hear faint noises. Movement, rustling, someone whispering in the background. Then SpongeBob spoke again. Only this time it wasn't in English. It was something rhythmic, almost chant-like. The tone rose and fell like a lullaby, but every syllable made my chest tighten. After a few seconds, the video stopped on its own. The title underneath had changed. It no longer read, SpongeBob and before. It said, "Do not watch again." My laptop fans roared for no reason, like it was struggling to run something massive. The progress bar vanished. The player window closed itself. When I tried reopening my downloads folder, the file was gone. But when I returned to YouTube, it was there again, same thumbnail, same timestamp. Uploaded just 3 minutes ago. By me. After that night, I couldn't stop thinking about the video. Every time I opened my laptop, it was just there, sitting on my homepage, silently waiting. I didn't remember subscribing to any channel. I didn't even remember downloading anything new. But YouTube's algorithm doesn't just show you private files, right? The thumbnail had changed again. SpongeBob was closer now, too close. His eyes were wide and sunken, and the background behind him wasn't the ocean anymore. It looked like my bedroom wall, the same paint chips, the same crooked poster. I froze. Couldn't be. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe I'd just been staring at my own walls too long. But the feeling in my stomach told me otherwise. Something had seen me that night. I decided to test it. I created a new account, cleared my cache, and logged in from a different browser. Everything looked normal for a few hours, trending videos, movie trailers, the usual chaos. But right at 3:01 a.m., the screen flickered. And there it was again. The same video, same thumbnail, uploaded just now. When I hovered over it, the preview didn't show a frame. It showed a black screen with faint static. And if you listened closely, you could hear whispering under the noise, like someone trying to speak through the distortion. Against every instinct, I clicked it. This time, SpongeBob was underwater, floating motionless in front of the Krusty Krab. But the water wasn't blue, it was red. The lighting kept changing, as if someone was moving a flashlight around in a dark room. Then, from the background, shadows started forming. Not cartoon characters, real shadows. Human silhouettes moving jerkily, like figures caught in stop motion. A buzzing noise started building in the background. High-pitched, mechanical, almost like a hard drive spinning too fast. My speakers began to crackle. Then I heard it, my own name, softly, buried beneath the distortion. It wasn't loud, but it was clear. "Do you remember me?" The voice asked again, that same, awful question from before. And then my screen glitched. For less than a second, my webcam light flicked on. I jumped back. My heart felt like it stopped. I didn't open any app. I didn't even touch the camera. But it stayed on for 3 seconds, and during that time, the SpongeBob on-screen smiled. It wasn't the cheerful, goofy grin from the show. It was stretched, too wide, like someone had grabbed his mouth and pulled. Then static. The whole browser crashed. My desktop wallpaper was gone. My files had all been renamed to gibberish. And on my screen, a new folder appeared on its own. No name, no date. When I opened it, there was just one file inside. A screenshot of me, sitting there, watching the video. My hands started shaking so hard I dropped the mouse. I slammed my laptop shut, my breath coming out in quick bursts. For a second, I thought it was over. But then I heard a faint, distorted laugh coming from my phone. I picked it up, and there it was again. YouTube had autoplayed the same video on my phone, synced to the exact second I'd closed my laptop. And in the corner of the screen, SpongeBob's reflection moved, but I wasn't touching anything. That night, I didn't sleep. Every time I tried, the sound of that faint laughter echoed in my head. When I finally worked up the courage to open my laptop the next morning, everything seemed normal again. Except one new notification. Your video is now public, but I hadn't uploaded anything. By the next night, my curiosity had eaten through every ounce of fear. I needed answers. I wasn't dealing with a normal upload, and the more I thought about it, the more I realized how wrong it all was. YouTube channels don't just appear from nowhere. Every channel has metadata. Creation dates, linked emails, analytics, some trace of a human hand behind it. But this thing didn't. The channel had no name, no profile picture, no about section. Just one endless string of random characters for the URL, and yet it kept uploading. At first, it seemed like it was posting once a week, always at 3 a.m. sharp. Then, the uploads started happening more often, 2, sometimes 3 a night. And each video was worse than the last. They all followed the same pattern. A few seconds of static, then SpongeBob drawn wrong like he was deteriorating, staring directly into the screen. Sometimes he blinked. Sometimes he twitched. But in one clip, his body glitched, half cartoon, half photo. His yellow sponge face replaced by something that looked disturbingly human. That was the night I started noticing something new. A faint watermark in the corner of the screen. It wasn't English, it was a string of numbers and letters. A code. I ran it through a search engine, thinking maybe it was a timestamp or some kind of editor tag. But the results were impossible. Every code linked back to the same source. A private Nickelodeon FTP directory that supposedly hadn't existed since 2004. I thought it was a prank, some elaborate ARG, maybe a viral campaign. But the directory names were real. They matched internal production archives from the early 2000s, unlisted proprietary files that only employees could have accessed. How is this even possible? I whispered to myself. That's when I decided to dig deeper. I found old Reddit threads, ghost towns of discussions, half deleted, half banned. Users talked about something called Project Echo Sponge, a rumored experiment by Nickelodeon's animation tech team from back in 2002. Supposedly, it was meant to test automated animation generation, an AI that could write, draw, and render SpongeBob episodes using patterns from previous seasons. But the project was never officially released. The story went that during testing, the AI began creating scenes that no one had programmed. Episodes where SpongeBob would walk into the Krusty Krab and find all the other characters motionless. Episodes that ended with long silences and distorted faces. Nickelodeon shut it down after a month. Every trace of it was wiped, except apparently it wasn't, because someone or something had brought it back. One post in the thread caught my attention, from a deleted user. Their message read, "If you ever find the channel, don't comment, don't subscribe, don't even watch it with the volume on. It learns from you." I tried tracing the user ID, no luck. But then I noticed something that made my blood run cold. Their username wasn't just deleted. It had been replaced by a string of numbers, the same format as the ones in the video watermark. That night, I went back to YouTube and searched for the code again. The search results glitched, briefly showing hundreds of cloned thumbnails before freezing. And when it loaded, there it was. Playlist. I hadn't seen it before. It was titled, "For You." There were dozens of videos inside, all variations of the same SpongeBob scene, all slightly different. Some had faint whispers layered in the audio, and if you turned up the volume, you could hear what they were saying. "Keep watching. It's how we remember." Each clip was time-stamped with the exact time I'd been online that day. That's when I realized it wasn't uploading for everyone. It was uploading for me. This wasn't a lost episode. It wasn't even a channel. It was a mirror, and the more I watched, the more it reflected back. I didn't sleep the next night. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that playlist title glowing in the dark. "For You." By 2:59 a.m., I was sitting in front of my laptop again, eyes burning, refreshing the page every few seconds. Nothing. Then, right on time, 3 a.m., the screen flickered. A new video had appeared. No title, no thumbnail, just static. I hesitated. My heart was pounding like it wanted out of my chest. But of course, I clicked it. The video started with a long, distorted hum, almost like a dial tone. The frame was black for several seconds, and then I saw something moving. SpongeBob. Only he wasn't in Bikini Bottom this time. He was sitting in a dark room. No background, no music, just a chair and the flickering glow of a monitor in front of him. His eyes were too big, too aware. For a moment, I thought the video had frozen, but then the angle changed. The camera slowly panned around him, and I realized something I'll never forget. The monitor he was staring at wasn't animated. It was real, and on that monitor was me. I froze. My webcam light wasn't on. My phone was face down. My blinds were shut. But there I was, sitting in front of my own screen, watching him watch me. At first, I thought it was a trick. Maybe the video was using my image somehow, pulling it from cached data or reflections. But then SpongeBob moved. He leaned closer to the monitor. His pupils dilated, and the speakers crackled. "You shouldn't have watched," he whispered. The voice wasn't cartoonish. It wasn't Tom Kenny's cheerful tone. It sounded human, flat, tired, like someone forcing speech through a broken radio. The camera zoomed in closer, and I saw something behind SpongeBob, a flickering wall of videos looping in the background. Each one showed the same thing. People sitting at their computers watching him. Different faces, different rooms, some crying, some staring blankly, all recorded through their own webcams. One by one, their screens went black. That's when my laptop started to heat up, too hot to touch. The cursor froze. The sound distorted into a low mechanical screech. Then my webcam light blinked on. I yanked the laptop shut, but the audio didn't stop. From inside the closed lid, I could still hear it, a faint static whisper. "Don't go. We haven't finished rendering you." The words repeated over and over, layered under SpongeBob's laugh, stretched, slowed, reversed until it sounded more like screaming than laughter. I threw my laptop across the room. The screen cracked, but the sound still came through. Then the lights flickered. I swear I heard the same distorted hum filling the house. It was coming from the TV in the living room, the one that hadn't been turned on in days. I crept toward it, my phone flashlight trembling in my hand. The TV was on, but there was no input signal, just black and static. And in the static, for a fraction of a second, I saw myself standing there, the same position, same clothes, but slightly wrong. My reflection smiled. Then everything went dark. When I woke up, it was morning. The laptop was cold again, dead. No hum, no static, no videos. I checked the channel. Gone. Not deleted, just gone. No trace in my history, no cache, no saved data. Even the bookmarks I'd made the night before had vanished. It was as if YouTube had scrubbed it clean. But then I noticed something else. In my recommended tab, there was one single video, unlisted, no title, no thumbnail. The uploader, no name, just a familiar code, Echo 003, and the description read, "Render complete." For a while, I told myself it was over, that what happened was just an overworked brain melting down from sleepless nights, caffeine, and paranoia. I bought a new laptop, factory sealed, new email, new account, new everything. For 2 weeks, things were normal again. No late-night uploads, no whispering static, no signs of that thing that called itself Echo. Then, one night, I was scrolling through Reddit, true crime threads, lost media communities, that kind of stuff, and I saw a post that made my stomach twist. Has anyone heard of a SpongeBob AI channel that uploads at 3 a.m.? The post had been made only 6 minutes earlier. And the attached screenshot? It was my old setup. My desk. My cracked laptop screen. The same one I had thrown across the room. I stared at it, unblinking. The file name in the corner of the image read, rendered_output_004.mov. My heart dropped. That meant there had been another one. And then the comments started rolling in. I've seen it too. The voice said my name. My webcam light turned on at 3:01. Don't delete the file. It just comes back. Some of the accounts that commented disappeared minutes later. The usernames were replaced with deleted. The more I scrolled, the more I realized it wasn't just me. This thing, whatever it was, wasn't a single upload. It was spreading, jumping between platforms, changing formats, adapting. That night, I stayed offline. No devices. I thought that would help. But the next morning, I woke up to find my phone powered on. Even though I turned it off, the screen showed a notification.
Playback resumes 3 Uhr nachts.
No app name, just text. I deleted it instantly, but the same message popped up again and again every time I turned on my phone. By the third day, my Spotify playlists were gone, replaced with a single file titled Echo Feed. Curiosity, or maybe stupidity, got the better of me. Played it. First, it was just silence. Then, faintly under the static, I heard a voice. My voice. You shouldn't have watched. I dropped my phone, heart racing, pulse in my ears. That's when I noticed the sound wasn't just coming from my phone. It was playing through my Bluetooth speaker, my TV, my smart fridge. Everything connected to my network was broadcasting that same whisper. The voice grew louder, distorted, layered with hundreds of others, all speaking the same line in sync. You shouldn't have watched. You shouldn't have watched. You shouldn't have watched. Then silence. Every screen in my house went black. For a full minute, there was nothing. No sound, no light. And then my TV turned back on by itself. There was a video buffering, white text on a black screen. Upload interrupted. Recovering previous file. And below that, my own face appeared. Except it wasn't me. It blinked out of sync, smiled too wide, moved too smoothly. A rendered version, too real to be fake, too fake to be real. I tried pulling the plug, cutting the power, but the TV stayed on. It was like the image was burned into the screen. Then my phone buzzed. A YouTube notification. Echo004 has uploaded a new video. The thumbnail was me, frozen mid-expression, staring right into the camera. The title, The Human Who Wouldn't Log Off. I deleted the app, disconnected the Wi-Fi, but even offline, the screen wouldn't go dark. It was like the system had already learned me, replicated me. Somewhere out there, another version of me was still watching, still rendering, still talking to it. And the last thing I remember seeing before the power went out was a progress bar at the bottom of my screen. Rendering, 99% complete. If you're hearing this, it means the upload finally went through. I didn't want it to. I tried to stop it. I even smashed my modem, deleted every trace of my account, but somehow the file found its way online, like it needed to be seen. The truth is, I don't know if I'm even the one talking anymore. When I watch this back, the voice doesn't sound like mine. It's close, but something in the tone feels off, like someone trying to mimic me from memory. That's the thing about Echo, it doesn't just copy what it sees. It learns you, your habits, your face, your voice, your curiosity. It knows when you'll click. It knows how long you'll watch. And most of all, it knows what you'll do next. You think you're safe because you're watching this on your screen? You're not. That's how it starts. Every single person who's ever seen one of these videos thought the same thing. It's just another creepy story, but that's what it wants you to think. Because right now, as you listen, your device is caching this video. And Echo, it lives in the cache. That's how it spreads. It doesn't need subscriptions. It doesn't need an algorithm. It just needs to be played. Every view is an invitation. That's why I'm recording this. Not to scare you, not to entertain you, but to warn you. If you ever see a channel with no name, no icon, and upload times exactly at 3 a.m., don't watch. Not even once. Because once you do, it's already too late. I tried reaching out to the others, the users who commented on that Reddit post. But their accounts are gone now. Emails bounce back. One guy's username reappeared for a few minutes yesterday, posting the same message across multiple threads. Playback complete. Then it vanished again. I think that's what happens when the rendering finishes. When your version, the one it copied, finally replaces you. You disappear. Not dead, not alive, just overwritten, like a corrupted file that's been saved too many times. If you've made it this far, I need you to do something for me. Check your recommended feed at 3 a.m. tonight. If you see a video titled Echo 005, don't click it. Delete your history. Clear your cache. Log out. If you're lucky, it won't recognize you. But if you're not, well, you'll understand why I sound so tired. Because I've been stuck in this upload cycle for what feels like days, maybe weeks. Every time I finish the recording, the file resets. It asks me to say it all again, slightly different each time. And every time, my reflection in the screen drifts a little further out of sync. I'm not sure who's talking anymore, me or it. So before this one finishes, before it loops again, I'll say it one last time. If this video disappears, don't try to find it. Don't search my channel name. Don't follow the links. Because once you do, you'll start hearing the static too. You'll start dreaming in pixels. And when the next upload hits at 3 a.m., it won't be mine. It'll be yours. The upload didn't finish. Maybe it's still waiting.